The Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
Coming up in about 30 minutes, Paul Watson is going to post an article with some documents. Several of our sources, both known to me, were contacted separately about jail facilities being secretly, and that's the big issue, installed inside post offices around the country. Well, Paul Watson and myself just did some searching this morning and found out that there are actually purchase orders for this, and that they have a public cover for it, claiming that the post offices and that the mail inspectors, the postal inspectors, are setting up these facilities for criminal investigations of mail fraud and to interrogate their employees. So it always has a dual use, but this is being radically expanded. And Watson was able to confirm, because I was going off memory this morning when I was contacted with this info, that during the Model States Health Emergency Powers Act, when they tried to force all the first responders in the country ahead of the general public, you have to make the first responders take injections first, that they did try to pass legislation to make citizens show up at postal facilities to take forced inoculations for smallpox and other vaccines. You saw another beta test last year with the H1N1 hype, where the federal government lobbied all 50 states and was successful in Massachusetts and New York to have the government come out and say, it's the law, you must take the H1N1 shot. But the people refused en masse, so they had to back off. So we know they're really trying to set this precedent, to take our blood at checkpoints without warrants, to naked body scan our bodies, and to, now they admit that they lied about it earlier. They are recording your body. They are saving it. They do make fun of people. They do print off the naked printouts of movie stars. They do make fun of their other employees' genitalia size when TSA has to go through it. And they now admit, okay, they're going in everywhere. Your children must do it. We are recording their naked bodies. Again, it's all about being over the top. Breaking our will. And so that's just some of the news and information that we're going to be covering today. Watson, in the next 30 minutes, will post our story that ties in to the rest of the confirmed FEMA camps, clergy response teams, federalization of police, the MIAC Homeland Security reports, where almost all the training is to take on gun owners, conservatives, libertarians, returning veterans. There can be no longer any doubt. FEMA camps are real. Our country is one giant prison camp. The public schools are acclimation centers for the prison society. Our Bill of Rights is gone. There is warrantless wiretapping. There is spying on the American people going on. That's all illegal. We have a criminal, out-of-control government. There can no longer be any doubt about that. Now, first I want to go through some of the top stories today. And then I'm going to get into just a small snapshot example of propaganda on television. I can't watch ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox. It is physically painful because I am awake, I am aware, I understand their propaganda tactics, and it is demoralizing to watch it because I feel so sorry for the people involved in the evil. And I watch them enjoying it so much and being such willing participants in their own destruction. That's why a lot of times I say no to mainstream media coming down here and interviewing me, because just the spirit of the reporters, the arrogance, the chutzpah, the bravado, the satisfaction that they're part of the system and they're so self-assured, and many of them know the system's corrupt and brutal and evil, and they just enjoy being part of it. Dan Harris is a diminutive, Napoleonic individual. Nothing against that. I'm only 5'10 and a half, 11. But I'm kind of like a chihuahua. I think of myself as huge. So I've never really had an issue with not being really tall. But this guy, I think he's like 5'3" or something. And very calculating, very manipulative. And I said, I know you're going to come down here and not air it. I know you're getting file footage and lying to me and saying it's going to air. And I know that you're not going to return my phone calls once you leave. But I said, come on down here. It's Nightline and ABC Nightly News both. Come on down here. Same thing with Chris Matthews' people. Same thing with HBO. Same thing with all of them. I mean, they've all been told, get footage of Jones so that after we bust a cap in his butt or set him up or do whatever we're going to do, we can have something out there to knit together. But see, I go willingly to the slaughter. I'm not like you. I didn't sell out. I know you think you're beyond good and evil, and this is the way the world's always been, and there's always been an elite, so you might as well just join it and be part of it and buy into it. You are so foolish. But more and more, I've gotten to the point where I don't even want to analyze their evil. I don't even want to sit here and put it all on display and point out all the facets of it. I mean, if the public can't see the unbelievable corruption and looting and tyranny that is spreading like a metastasizing cancer, what's the point? I mean, for anyone that studied history and propaganda, when you can flip from channel to channel on the news and on dramas and on every other program, and all it is brainwashing and demonization and attacking gun owners and family rights groups and homeschoolers and people that are against GMO food and people that don't want to drink sodium fluoride. I mean, that's all it is. Because if you wake up and stop eating the GMO, if you wake up and stop drinking the sodium fluoride that's giving you cancer and sterilizing you, if you wake up to the vaccines killing you, it's over for these murdering pieces of trash. They get off on it. They write textbooks about how they're poisoning you. They think it's funny. And they say, as evidence that you deserve to die, is the fact that they're out in the open and you're so stupid you don't care. In fact, let me just get to this first here before I get into world stocks and our economy being destroyed by design and what's happening in North Korea. Because this just illustrates everything. Let's go ahead and play this clip. ABC News attempts to align climate change skeptics with white supremacists. And then Dan Harris of ABC Nightly News, he says, who was in my office 3 weeks ago, he says, oh, and there have already been 2 groups that have cleared ClimateGate of any wrongdoing. Yeah, they've cleared themselves. We've covered those whitewashers. You notice he doesn't tell you who's cleared them. He just tells you they've been cleared. Man-made global warming's real. Pay Al Gore attacks. Everything's fine. But they imply that you're white supremacist. I mean, you can go out there and find white supremacists on giant message boards covering any subject you want. Oh, you don't like salted butter? I bet they can find a white supremacist, or they can go pose as one on the message board, who's against salted butter. And say, if you're against salted butter, you're a white supremacist. Oh, look, we got white supremacists that are against man-made global warming. Uh-oh, they're threatening people. Meanwhile, they don't mention here that it's the EU and the British government that have called for arresting people like Lord Monckton, myself, and others who criticize man-made global warming. They want to make it illegal. They're the ones. It's Cass Sunstein in the White House that wants to make it illegal. They're the ones that want to shut people up, but they imply that the poor, innocent ABC News reporters, the poor, innocent, they're all under attack. The poor, innocent, reporters talking to man with the made-up hockey stick graph. And, my gosh, the white supremacists are after him. You're not with white supremacists, are you? Well, then you better believe in global warming and pay your tax to the UN. Your neighbor's warning you about fluoride? Didn't you watch CSI last week? Those are people that want to nerve gas children. They're un-American. Here it is.
The ongoing oil spill crisis in the Gulf is keeping the debate over climate and energy very much in the headlines, and that debate is becoming increasingly venomous.